Good morning. Welcome. It is good to be with you this morning. Whether you are here in person or watching from home, it's good for all of us to be together. Today is our Pride service, which, happening during Pride Month, recognizes the impact that lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender individuals have had on history, and lifts up the experiences of our LGBTQIA+ selves, friends, and family members. Juneteenth also falls on this coming Friday. On Juneteenth, we commemorate the end of Black chattel slavery here in the United States. Both the LGBTQIA+ community and the African American community fight daily for the right to live and love the way they were born to do, for the freedom to be all of who they are. Our opening words this morning are from Amy Bowden Friedman. She includes phrases from the spiritual called Motherless Child, which, dating back to the end of slavery, portrays both the despair and the hope present in the ongoing struggle for liberation. Maybe we've got folks waiting to sit down. If folks here could sort of squish into the middle and let people sit on the end, I think that would be helpful. Yeah, we're without our central aisle today, so okay, again, these opening words are from Amy Bowden Friedman. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Here may you find a warm greeting, a kind word, a gentle touch. Sometimes I feel like I have no friends. Here may you find a community of support, a pulse of liberation, a vision of hope. Sometimes I feel I am almost gone. Here may you find a song to sing, a moment of silence, a hand to hold. Even when you are a long way from home, may these walls give you shelter. May this community break through your loneliness, and may you feel the embrace of a larger spirit of life and love. Come, let us worship together.
Go down, down into the earth. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down. I am a wildflower reaching for the sun. I am a wildflower reaching for the sun. I am a wildflower reaching for the sun. My roots go down. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down. I am a cypress tree pushing up the swamp. I am a cypress tree pushing up the swamp. I am a cypress tree pushing up the swamp. My roots go down. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down. I am a longleaf pine dropping all my cones. I am a longleaf pine dropping all my cones. I am a longleaf pine I am the wiregrass swinging in the breeze. My roots go down. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down. I am an oak tree tall and old. I am an oak tree tall and old. I am an oak tree tall and old. My roots go down. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down.
Good morning. I'm Donna Lowell. My pronouns are she, her. The flaming chalice is the symbol of the Unitarian Universalist tradition, the liberal religious tradition to which this congregation belongs. Will those of you here in person please stand as you are able for the chalice lighting? If you have a chalice at home, I invite you to light it with us at this time. As we kindle this flame, we recommit ourselves to nurturing the spirits of one another and the common good of the world we share. May the light of this flame be welcoming to all who seek a liberal religious home.
For those of you already standing, I invite you to remain standing for our opening hymn. Our opening hymn this morning is number 131, Love Will Guide Us. Good morning again. My name is Becky Elliott, she, her, and I'm glad to serve as part of the worship team this morning. Whether this is your first or 1,000th Sunday with us, and whether you strolled, rolled, zoomed, ran, or danced in, we are glad you chose to join us. We are one people of many beliefs, identities, origins, ethnicities, sexualities, and genders. So whoever you are, wherever you've come from, whatever your faith or lack thereof, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. The UU Fellowship of Raleigh is an intentionally inclusive, liberally religious community, actively serving the common good of our shared world. This morning, one of our lay ministers will be available in the front right corner of the sanctuary, right over here, after the service, to talk with anyone who might be experiencing difficulties in their lives and would just like to talk with someone. I hope all of you will read through the chalice you received by email on Friday about everything happening around here at UUFR, or check out our upcoming events section on our website. I'd like to highlight a couple things. After today's worship service, Reverend Carey will be leading a newcomer gathering. This is for recent visitors to meet with Reverend Carey, learn more about Unitarian Universalism and UUFR, and ask any questions they may have. This gathering will take place in the music room, which is the room at the end of the hall, just outside these doors on this side of the sanctuary, and that will take place again after the end of the service. Coffee and donuts will be served. Volunteers are needed to help staff UUFR's booth this year at Out Raleigh on June 27th. Volunteers will help set up, clean up, and tabling during the event. To sign up for a volunteer slot, contact Reverend Carey or use the sign-up link found in the chalice. Minors wanting to volunteer must be accompanied by an adult. This event is an important fundraiser for the LGBT Center of Raleigh and all its amazing programs. So come help celebrate the LGBTQIA+ community, our friends and families. Our in-person social hour this morning will be downstairs in Founders Hall and will include a beautiful pride cake baked by Dana Maddox. So donuts, pride cake. I now invite you to meet and greet your neighbors. This is what we need the gong for. Okay, please, I hope you will continue. I hope you will continue all these wonderful conversations at the social hour after the service. Now, however, this is the time in our service when we acknowledge some of the joys and sorrows of our community. We do this because we believe a joy shared is a joy made greater, and a sorrow shared is one made easier to bear. My husband Emilio and I share that my uncle, Bob Elliott, died this week at the age of 92, just 4 weeks after his wife Barbara died. So please send loving thoughts to my large extended family. George Weinstein's Aunt Gail died recently after having battled cancer 9 times over the last 40 years. Another family member has recently been diagnosed with brain cancer that is inoperable and is near to the end of his life. May we hold George and his family in our hearts during this difficult time. Robin Kitson shares her joy that her poem, Beelzebub's Sonata, was included in the 2026 poetry anthology, Trump Derangement Syndrome 2026. She shares that while she doesn't get paid for it, she is just thrilled to have her poem selected. It is considered high-level snark. So congratulations, Robin. As we hold these shared joys and sorrows in our hearts and reflect on the joys, sorrows, fears, and hopes of our own lives, let's be together in stillness and silence, opening ourselves to that spirit within us and amidst us, called by many names, but known to every human heart, that leads us to a fuller, deeper, richer experience of life. After the silence, we'll sing hymn number 391, Voice Still and Small, but now, let's be together in stillness and silence.
Good morning. My name is Kathy Ganthner, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a member of your board of directors for 2 more weeks. I'll be downstairs at social hour after the worship service. If you have anything you'd like to share with me about the board, ask any questions, or just say hi. Everything we do at UUFR is only possible because of the generous financial support so many of us provide. For those of you who have set up automated giving to UUFR or who send in a check by mail every month, I'd like to thank you now for your generosity. Here at UUFR, we designate one Sunday each month as Justice Sunday, and all the money collected during our offering is given to a local or national nonprofit organization. Today is our Justice Sunday, and our Justice Council has designated the LGBT Center of Raleigh as the recipient of today's offering. Brianna Hicks will, a member of their Board of Trustees, will tell us a little bit more. Brianna?
Good morning. My name is Brianna Hicks, and I serve on the Board of Trustees for the LGBT Center of Raleigh. Before anything else, thank you. Thank you to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Raleigh for choosing the center as the recipient of this month's Justice Collection, and thank you to this community for recognizing that justice is not just something we talk about, it is something we invest in. My connection to the LGBT Center is deeply personal. I stand before you today as a board member, but also as a queer woman, a mental health therapist, and a member of the Raleigh community. Each of those identities has shown me the same truth. People thrive when they know that they belong. That is what the LGBT Center of Raleigh creates. The center serves as a hub for the LGBTQ+ community across the Triangle. Through youth programming, family support, community groups, health initiatives, leadership development, advocacy, and direct resources, we create spaces where people can find connection, support, and community. For some, the center is where they attend their first support group. For others, it's where they meet people who understand their experience. For young people especially, it may be the first place where they can fully be themselves. As a therapist, I see every day the toll that isolation takes on people. I also see what happens when people find community. When someone realizes they are not alone, something shifts. Hope becomes possible. Healing becomes possible. That is why places like the LGBT Center matter. And right now, that work is more important than ever. At a time when many LGBTQ+ people, especially queer and trans youth, are facing uncertainty and hostility, the center remains a steady and welcoming presence. It says clearly and consistently, you belong here. You matter. We're glad you're here. Your generosity helps make that possible. Every dollar raised through this Justice Collection will help sustain programs, resources, and spaces that support LGBTQ+ people throughout our community. Thank you for your partnership, your generosity, and your commitment to building a community where everyone has the opportunity not just to survive, but to thrive.
Thank you, Brianna. If you would like to make a contribution in person this morning, we invite you to bring it forward and put it in one of our 3 offering plates. If you would prefer to have an usher come to you, please raise your hand. You may also give using one of the methods that will be up on our screen. Our offering will now be given and gratefully received. Thank you.
Morning, I'm Victor Lowell, he, him. This is entitled A Protest or a Party by Hannah Roberts Villeneuve. People sometimes ask, is pride a protest or a party? And the answer is, of course, yes. And why not? Why not rejoice as we resist, dance as we demand change, celebrate as we create community that delights in all of who we are? So bring all of that with you this morning. Bring your policy demands, bring your glitter, bring your Supreme Court broken heart, bring your rainbow socks, bring the emptiness you feel for our siblings gone too soon. Bring your Gloria Estefan remix, bring your tender hope for change. Bring your most garish eyeshadow, bring your spirit, tattered and battered by a world that seems insistent on choosing fear and hate. Gather up all these things and bring them here to a place where we don't have to shoulder these burdens or celebrate these joys alone.
Our guest speaker this morning is the Reverend Lisa Garcia Sampson. She is the Executive Director of UU Justice North Carolina, joyfully organizing UUs across the state to co-create a transformative movement for justice through spiritual grounding, collaboration, and imagination. UU Justice North Carolina's ministry spans racial, economic, environmental, immigrant, electoral justice, and more. Please, let's give her a warm welcome today.
Thanks, Becky. Good morning. It is a joy to be here with you all today, and I want to begin by thanking Lucy Bradley and Reverend Carey and everyone who has helped to organize today's Pride service for the invitation to come here and speak about queer joy and queer justice. And it's actually a topic I have never preached about, which is pretty remarkable because I am gay. So it was just pretty impressive that I've gone 10 years and never given a sermon about pride, but I really appreciate the opportunity to do so. So before I moved here to North Carolina, many of you know, or some of you know, that I was a lifelong New Englander and did all of my ministerial training up in Boston. And in the summer of 2018, I had the privilege of serving on an all-queer chaplaincy team at a Jewish nursing home as part of my clinical pastoral education. This was the first of its kind. The program director was a queer United Church of Christ minister whose first ministry was caring for individuals who were dying of AIDS in New York City in the 80s and 90s. It was her vision to build a team, even if just for a few months, who could help create an LGBTQ affirming environment at the nursing home so that LGBTQ elders could feel comfortable reflecting on and fully expressing their gender or sexual orientation, and where some might even embrace their LGBT identity for the very first time. That summer was a formative experience for me as our cohort learned about LGBTQ history, especially of the early and mid-20th century. We learned about the challenges that many aging LGBTQ people face around housing and care when too often they have been disowned by their family members. We hosted Abby Stein, a renowned trans rabbi, to lead a Jewish text study for residents which biblically affirmed their identities. And my favorite part, throughout the summer, we held big gay dance parties at the nursing home's large worship space on Fridays before we transitioned to Kabbalat Shabbat service, which was quite a thing. These dance parties included live performances by, among others, an Elton John impersonator. It was fabulous. And the average age of the residents in this nursing home was 92. So we were able to join with these residents in their 90s and 100s, some of whom were Holocaust survivors, who were thrilled to be draped in feather boas and don colorful hats and dance however their bodies and their walkers or their wheelchairs allowed. And our chaplaincy team, we were the dance partners. We were the hype men, we were the distributors of those costumes. Now, of course, not all these elders were gay or trans. Most of the folks enjoying these parties were cis, straight folks just dancing. But for others, the meaning was deeper. They were in their glory, and their joy would sometimes move us to tears. But our work did not end on the dance floor. We sat with these elders to listen to their stories and offer spiritual care that was LGBTQ affirming and generationally informed, like how we never used the word queer because most residents still understood that word as a slur. To help facilitate these conversations, I created a simple timeline activity, and I actually had Carrie, I sent it to Carrie and had her print some out that can be available to you all in the church. It's a simple sheet of paper that has 3 timelines across it of roughly the last 100 years. The first timeline was of major events in U.S. and world history. The second timeline was of LGBTQ history. And the third was a blank timeline through which that LGBTQ elder could place their life. This helped to facilitate conversations with our residents about what it was like to be who they were during various moments throughout the 20th century. I remember elders describing to me the military-sponsored shows where men would dress in drag during World War II. Does anybody remember that? What it was like to be gay in their 20s during McCarthyism and the Lavender Scare. They described finding community among other LGBTQ people at gay bars and clubs in big cities and in small towns, and how they sometimes feared that those spaces would be raided. And later on in life, they witnessed the AIDS pandemic, when Ellen came out, and finally seeing the day when marriage equality became the law of the land. And as I listened to these stories, I was able to just barely glimpse what it must have felt like. Sure, in moments of fear and persecution, but more often, they were most excited to tell the stories of the moments when they felt fully seen, when they were able to fully express who they were and who they loved, the moments when they felt free. Sometimes I hear people say that we have not made progress around LGBTQ issues, that we have gone backwards, and I understand where that is coming from. But to deny the progress that we have made gravely dishonors those who have courageously brought us to this moment. The attacks we are experiencing today is in fact evidence of that progress. It is a response to our progress, and that is a different thing entirely. We must hold these truths in tension, that we have made incredible progress since the time that those gay elders came of age in the 30s and 40s, and we are also in dire times. Is pride a protest or a party? The answer is yes. As we begin this season of pride, it is so today as it has always been. We are called to know it is a deep expression of joy and freedom and a profound act of resistance against the forces of hate and oppression that attack our community. And that we are living in an incredibly dangerous time where people across our nation, emboldened by their president and ordained by their God, are strategically organizing to erase us. We have to tell the truth about that, even in Pride, especially during Pride. And I want to take a moment to talk a little bit about the specific context of LGBTQ attacks in North Carolina. It was 10 years ago this spring that the North Carolina General Assembly passed HB 2, also known as the bathroom bill, which required people to use the bathroom that matches their gender on their birth certificate. This decision caught national attention, and our state immediately experienced a swift economic backlash. PayPal halted the development of their North Carolina facility. The NBA All-Star Game pulled out of Charlotte. Major concerts were canceled, just to name a few. And we suffered a loss of billions with a B, of dollars in our state's economy. What history sometimes fails to remember is that the eventual defeat of that bill was not because of the strength of a moral appeal, but because of the threat of further economic consequences. And as organizers, as strategists in this fight, we need to take note of that. It is a lesson for us to remember. And additionally, we need to remember that the final compromise that drew HB 2 back was in exchange for a ban on North Carolina municipalities passing non-discrimination laws until 2020. We need to tell that part of the history. On December 3rd, 2022, an attack on a power station occurred in Moore County, a conservative, mostly rural county west of Fayetteville. Does anybody here remember when that happened? There is strong evidence pointing to who did it and to why they did it. A small group of ex-military with clear white Christian nationalist ties who were attempting to shut down a family-friendly drag show in the town of Southern Pines. And that is right, a group of people attacked their own power grid so that they could stop a drag queen, who is fabulous, by the way, Naomi Dix, incredible, so that she wouldn't be able to perform her show. Well, joke was on them because she just passed out glow sticks and kept singing. But it's also not a joke, because that attack left most of the county without power for days on end in the winter and resulted in the death of a woman named Karen Zianelli, who depended on an oxygen machine to breathe. So of course you're wondering, who was held responsible for this crime? Well, there was a clear suspect. She was an ex-military officer who had the skills and capabilities to do that exact attack. And she had been leading the charge to shut down that very drag show in the month prior. And just moments after the power grid attack, she tweeted, "The lights are out in Moore County, and I know why." But she was never prosecuted. And the fact that she happened to be friends with the sheriff is, I'm sure, just a coincidence. This is the state we are living in. In 2023, we saw a horrific wave of anti-LGBTQ laws being passed during that year's legislative session at our state's General Assembly, including a ban on gender-affirming care for trans youth, including surgeries and puberty blockers. Puberty blockers, which, by the way, are universally by, doctors, recognized as safe, and that are perfectly legal to be used by both minors and adults still to this day, unless it is for gender-affirming care. How completely cruel. We saw a ban on transgender athletes competing in sports at middle school, high school, and collegiate levels. And North Carolina's Don't Say Gay bill banned any content in grades K through 4 about LGBTQ identities, claiming that instruction on LGBT+ topics is not age appropriate. The law also requires teachers and school employees to out LGBTQ students to their parents if they go by a name or by pronoun that is different from their school records. And years later, we are seeing the General Assembly literally summon superintendents, most recently from the Chapel Hill Carborough schools, to a committee hearing because they have found LGBTQ books in school libraries. That is the state we live in today. Of course, the Trump administration has, in the past 2 years, taken incredible steps to dismantle LGBTQ rights and identities, especially for our trans siblings, which cruelly impacts healthcare, housing, military service, civil rights, and public recognition. In this day and age, many in my generation fear, if not assume, that the federal right for same-sex couples to marry will not exist much longer. We would be silly to think that that's a lock, right? We need to tell the truth about what is happening in this moment. They think they can erase us. But beloveds, we knew that they couldn't erase us in the 40s, or in the 60s, or in the 90s, and they are not going to erase us today. Because people across North Carolina, people across the South, people across our nation are fighting back. We fight back when we engage in advocacy to combat dangerous legislation at a federal, state, and local level. And one action that you can take today is to write a public comment to the federal government to advocate for the continued equal access to programs and services funded by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity. You can go to transequality.org today to take action. Just click on the graphic that says Protect the Equal Access Rule. We need to continue to host drag shows and drag story hours in our congregations, and we need to continue to teach the OWL, Our Whole Lives Lifespan Sexual Education curriculum to our kids. That's right. Shout out to Dana Lundquist and the incredible team here at UUFR. And because of the legislation that occurred in 2023, faith communities are quickly becoming one of the only places outside the home where kids can learn about LGBTQ identities and be affirmed. And that makes OWL more important now more than ever. And if you haven't heard, now just 2 weeks ago, the United Methodist Church, which I went to a Methodist seminary, I never thought I'd say these words. The United Methodist Church has just joined Unitarian Universalists and the United Church of Christ in now beginning to offer OWL to their children. Huge. I knew those Methodists would step up. I knew it. And we also need to be deeply engaged in our local school boards and stay aware of the impacts that the groups like the Moms for Liberty and the North Carolina Values Coalition, I know you all know them, the impact that they are having on our children's education. A powerful example of this was in New Hanover County a couple years back. It was a school board meeting where a group of trans high school youth were testifying to the school board about being bullied in school. And while they were doing that, a group of over a dozen Proud Boys lining the back wall of that committee meeting were literally heckling them. And the school board did nothing. And the police doing security for the event did nothing. But it was the parents. It was the community members who had also packed that room, some of whom were UU, who would not stand idly by while their kids were bullied by these sad, cruel men. We have to protect our kids. We fight back by learning de-escalation techniques and participating in safety teams for drag shows and pride celebrations and other LGBTQ events in our communities. And, beloveds, we have to go to the root of the problem: the power and influence of Christian nationalism here in our state. This year, UU Justice NC is excited to launch a new 5-year campaign to combat Christian nationalism in North Carolina. It's a response to something called the Nehemiah Project. Who here has heard of the Nehemiah Project? The Nehemiah Project is a $48 million investment, a campaign to encourage and to recruit 500 fundamentalist Christian nationalist pastors and members of their congregations to run for state or local office in North Carolina by 2030. This is no joke. This effort is being funded by the American Renewal Project and is an old school evangelical Christian nationalist movement in the mold of the Reagan era moral majority. They intend to enact a deeply pro-war, anti-social service, and anti-LGBTQ agenda in our state, and we cannot let them do it. So this summer, we invite you to attend our 3-part training series led by UU Justice NC's congregational mobilizer and expert in Christian nationalist ideology, Mr. Caleb Graves. Through this series, Caleb will equip us to talk with fellow North Carolinians about why a Christian nationalist agenda does not serve us, whether we are Catholic or Jewish or Church of Latter-day Saints across the board. There will be multiple opportunities to participate in this training series on Zoom this summer. It's a 3-part series that we will run over and over and over again. We got the time. And stay tuned for more details. You will hear about it from Reverend Carey. And then this fall, we will host 2 national phone banks in partnership with National UU The Vote in September, where we will call tens of thousands of North Carolinians about this issue, and then we will get on the doors, and we will be in 2 counties this September, in Hendersonville and in Monroe, at events and knocking on doors, doing deep canvassing to talk about faith as people of faith. We need to stop talking about how bad Christian nationalism is, and we need to start addressing it, right? And despite all that we are facing, and because all that we are facing, we are called to fight back by celebrating the shit out of pride. Excuse my language. The LGBTQ community and allies alike are called to be visible with our joy, with our expressions of love, with our power, with our freedom. Because as the poet Toy Derricott says, joy is an act of resistance. Joy is not counter to the movement, it is the purpose of the movement. Love and joy and the spirit of abundance, it's not a coincidence that most of the attacks on the LGBTQ community happen when we are partying, because they are afraid of our joy. They are afraid of our love, and they should be. These are the things that nourish us and sustain us and guide us. These are the things we are fighting for, and these are the things that we are fighting with. That is the difference between a movement rooted only in opposition, in the act of fighting back and of blocking. That's the difference between a movement rooted in opposition and a movement grounded in the act of creation. A movement that is loving and life-giving and irresistible, a movement that cannot be erased. So even in the hardest moments, root yourselves in love and joy, and know that joy is your birthright, and that the call of our faith is to help create a world where that birthright can be claimed by all. So why do we celebrate Pride? We celebrate Pride for the gay elder dancing to Elton John in their nursing home, who has lived to witness progress. For the man who died of AIDS and never got to witness the way their city would one day raucously celebrate LGBTQ people every June. We celebrate Pride for the trans teen being heckled by grown-ass adults at a school board meeting. For the drag queen who was so dangerous that a group attacked the county power grid just to shut down her show. We celebrate Pride for the young child whose family's love has blessed them with the freedom to be who they are. For the parents of LGBTQ youth who loves fiercely and never stops fighting for the world that their children and that all children deserve. We celebrate Pride for the gays who find each other in small rural towns across this state and build intergenerational communities of care. For all of these stories, known and unknown, So this pride, may we don our feathered boas and dance in demonstration of our power, in defiance of those who wish to erase us, but more importantly, in celebration of the progress that we have made and the progress that is yet to come. In celebration of our deep love of self and love of others, in celebration of the truth that we are divine and that we are free. Beloveds, may we answer the call of our faith to pursue love and joy with the same fervor in which we pursue justice. May it be so, and happy Pride. Amen. Please join me in rising in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 121, We'll Build a Land.
We'll
Time of worship together, I would like to share this rainbow blessing with you, written by Cricket Hall, and we'll have the extinguishing of our chalice. May the drag stage rise to meet you. May the world rise to accept and embrace you. May the rainbow of love enfold you. May your fluidity never be hindered. May your pronouns always be supported and your dead name forgotten. May those you invite into your life remain loyal. May your chosen family lift you up and catch you when you need it, and may you be able to catch others when they need it. May you remember sensitivity is not weakness, but instead a great strength welling up inside you. And until we meet again, may you remember that you are loved and you are divine. Amen.